Hello students, today we would be doing Python functions. Let us understand what are functions. Functions are basically sub-programs or small programs which act on the data which is given to it and return a value. They usually do something with the data and return you back whatever is the result. We have always been using this kind of functions. If you remember len is a function which takes a string value from you and will return the length of the string. There are basically three types of functions in Python. Built-in functions, that is length, len, input, print, etc., which are automatically available in every Python code. Hence, you just have to write len, pass it a value, and it will give you the answer. Second are functions which are defined in module. We have learned two types of modules, math and random. If we want to use functions which are defined in this module, we need to import math. Like if I want to use seal and floor of math, I need to import math, and after that I need to write math.seal. In that case, I can use seal and floor, etc. by using the module name dot the function name. Third is user-defined functions. User-defined functions are the functions which we define and we use it or invoke it. How do we create a user-defined function? Let us see. A user-defined function starts with the keyword def, followed by the identifier. I can give any name, but it should follow all the rules of an identifier, can have only numbers, alphabets, and underscore, cannot start with a number, cannot be keyword, etc. It is followed by this circular bracket, which are called parentheses. Circular bracket are empty if I do not want to give any value, but if I want to give any value, I will have to write the parameters. Here x and y are called as parameters or arguments. Later on, the definition, the first line ends with a colon, that is the function definition ends with a colon, and then starts the body of the function. With the values x and y which have been given to add, I am doing addition, putting it in a variable z and returning the variable z's value. Now, these three lines are said to be the definition of a function. Within the definition of the function, these two lines which come after the colon is said to be the body of the function. If you want to use this function, you need to invoke it. You need to call it or invoke it by saying the name add. This is how a function is written in Python. Okay. Now let us see how do we let us see the execution of a function. How does a function execute? Execution of the function is somewhat like this. When I am running the code or when I compile the code, all the lines are executed. First line, then the second statement, then the third statement, then the fourth statement. Fifth statement is a definition of a function. So only the first line is interpreted, is read, and if there is any mistake, then an error is thrown. The body of the function is ignored. Next line, when it is executed, when add function is actually invoked, it is at that time the two lines which are the part of the body of the function are executed. Here you can see the add function I have called for the first time with 4 and 5, where x is 4 and y is 5. Both is added, placed in z, and the value that is returned is 9. I call add again, this time with value 13 and 14. Again it will go back and execute the body of add function, this time with x as 13 and y as 14, and give me the answer as 27. This is how a function works. Remaining things we will be seeing in our next video. Thank you. Hello students, today we would be doing part 2 of Python functions. Last time we saw how to write a function. We also saw what is the execution pattern of a function. Its body is executed only when it is invoked or called. Let us see today about return statement in a function. First and foremost, the return statement should be the last statement in the body of a function. We do not write any statement after this or it will throw an error. We can return more than two values or more than one values. Like say if I want to return the addition as well as subtraction, I can do that. I can have p is equal to x minus y, and I am returning the addition as well as subtraction. In that case, it will print both the answer, that is the addition and the subtraction part. Okay. Next, we can have the return statement removed. You can see I have created a greet function. Greet function is not having any return value. In that case, greet function will not be returning anything, or you can say it will be returning none. These are the four ways you can write a return statement. Either an empty, a return statement with nothing after it also returns a none. Let us understand something known as default arguments. What is a default argument? Let us observe this greet function. In greet function, I need two parameters or two arguments. One is the name and second is the message. I can give it a default value as hi. Now when I have given a default value, whenever I am invoking the greet function, in that case, the greet function, to greet function, I'll be giving the name and I'll be giving a message. When I give name and message, it would be printing with the name and message. As you can see, NIR, how are you? But in case if I call the greet function, without passing a message to it or without writing MSG value, in that case he will use the default value hi. Let us see the output. You can see here it has written Nirali hi. When I give it a value, he is going to print that value of MSG. One more thing you can observe over here, add is having a return value, and hence I have to use either print or I will have to use a variable in which I'll put the answer which is returned by add and then print it. In the case of greet, I have not used any print statement because there is no return statement. It is returning none. Moreover, it itself is printing. Whatever print I wanted it to do, I have done it inside the method itself. Okay. In that case, if I am going to write over here print, you can see it has written none because there is no return statement for greet and hence it is returning no value. Yeah, one more thing, that is a keyword argument. What is a keyword argument? Normally when I have three parameters, see over here I have a function def fun is the function which has three parameters a, b, c. When I am calling this or invoking this function, I have to give, when I have given three values 4, 5 and 6, 4's value is given to a, 5 to b and 6 to c. In case if I want that C should be passed on first, A should be passed on first or B should be passed on first, then I can write down the name of the parameter and I can write down is equal to and the values. I can see, you can see over here that C is given 4, A is given 5 and B is given 6. One more thing to understand, here when I am defining the function, ABC is called as a formal parameter. And when I actually pass the parameter or the value, they are said to be the actual parameters of a function. So when you define, the parameters you give are called formal, and when you actually invoke, the parameters you give are called to be actual. That is all for today. We will do the third part later on. Thank you. Hello kids, today we will be discussing part 3, that is Python functions of part 3. We will be discussing local and global variables today. Let us see what are local variables and what are global variables with respect to Python. Any variable which is defined outside a function is said to be a global variable. You can see here x is equal to 13 is a global variable. A variable which is defined within the function of or within the definition or as a part of the body of a function is said to be a local variable. Over here you can see that function fun is having variable x is equal to 12 and z is equal to 5. X and z are considered to be a local variable, whereas this x is considered to be global variable. Okay. Why have I given same name? Because I want to show you that x here global variable has value 3, whereas local variable has reassigned the value of x to 12. Now when I call the function fun, you can see that it is at that time that the body of the function is executed. Hence x value is given, x's value becomes 12 and z's value becomes 5. I am returning x and z. If you will see the output for x and z turns out to be 12 and 5. When I am printing x in a global scope, say only these 3 lines are said to be the local scope of function, or say are the body of function fun, whereas remaining part, this as well as this, is having global scope. Hence, when I am writing print x, which x is it going to use? It is going to use the x which is present in the global scope. In short, a variable which is defined inside a body of a function is visible or is available or can be accessed only within the function body. Whereas a variable which is defined outside the body of the function can be used inside as well as outside. In case if I am not overwriting x, let us see what is the output. In case when I am not overwriting, you can see the output came as 3, 5 and 3. Why 3? Because he has used the global value of x which is 3. In short, whenever a global variable is given, it can be accessed by a local scope or can be accessed within a function. But the opposite of it is not true. That is, z is defined inside the function fun. In that case, I cannot use it in the global scope or else it will throw an error. So, a function defined within a function, a variable defined within a function is having a local scope. A variable which is defined outside the body of any function is having a global scope. Local cannot be visible in global scope, whereas global variables can be visible in the local scope. Now let us see, if I want to use the x which is given as a global variable, do some changes to it and then after return it. Let me say x is equal to 12, or say I say global is the keyword. Now when I am telling him that global x, it means that I am trying to use the x which is globally available. Now the global x, I am trying to change it or manipulate it and I make it 12. Now what happens? Now when I run the code, you can see that it has turned into 12, which was 3 initially. Why? Because now I have told to my function that I am using global x. Global x means x which is defined in the global scope. And when it is told to reassign the value x is equal to 12, it is actually reassigning the value 12 to the global variable. Hence, the value of this x is now turned into 12. And when I try to print it in the global scope, it turns out to be 12. Okay. This is about local and global scope. Next lecture we will be seeing about when we are passing mutable and immutable values to a function. Thank you. Hello students, today we will be doing Python functions part 4, in which we will be discussing that what happens when a mutable or an immutable variable is passed as a parameter to the function. Before understanding that, let us understand the memory location or assignment that happens in Python. Let us see this code where a is equal to 3, n is equal to 3, and I am printing the id, that is the memory location of a or memory location to which n points, and they both point to 3, so I am trying to find out the memory location of 3. You can see all 3 are giving me the answer same. It means a is also pointing to the memory location where 3 is there, n is also pointing to the memory location where 3 is there, and 3 is at this particular memory location. It is when I say n is equal to 4, now n is pointing to some other memory location where 4 is stored. This is not true when I am talking about a list. So even if they have same values, A is having a list with only one element 3 and N is also having only one element 3. In spite of this, when I run the code, it will give me different IDs. What is the reason? Because over here A is pointing to a list which is having address of 3 and A is storing the address of that list. You can see it over here in the picture. L is 123, N is 123. L is pointing to some memory location which is having in itself 3 memory locations stored, that is memory location of 1, memory location of 2 and memory location of 3. Here 1, 2 and 3 are constant, their IDs are constant, but the list which is holding the memory location of 1, 2 and 3 is different. It is different for L, it is different for N. You already know that a list is mutable one, whereas a normal number, when it is only 3, it is immutable one. Okay, now let us see when we pass it to a function. Suppose that I am passing it to a function. I write down a function def fun with n and I change the value of n is equal to 4. That is, I have written a code in which a is equal to 3, again n is equal to 3. You can see I have defined two functions, function 1 and function 2. Function 1 takes a immutable value n, reassigns a value 4 to it. Now a is equal to 3 is a global variable. I am calling function 1 with a. So the value of a, that is 3, is assigned to n. And then after n is changed to 4. Now in the global scope, if I try to print a, it is still going to give me the value which is global, that is a is equal to 3. It is not going to show me a is equal to n, or say n is equal to 4, it will not show me n. Even if I change the name and I make it as a, so a is reassigned in the local scope, what we saw in the last video. In that case, even a is equal to 4 is local and a is equal to 3 is global. In that case, when I print over here, the output will still always be 3. On the other side, function 2 takes n, which over here a is a list with element 3 in it, only one element. When I invoke the function by passing it a, here the data type of a is what? A list. Within the body of the function, I am trying to write n.append 4. That is to n, whatever has come as a parameter to the function 2, I have appended 4. So the original a has been turned into 3, 4. Hence you can see the output, it will show me 3, 4. So the original list is appended or changed over here, whereas here the original value 3 is not changed. I hope you understand. I'll run this code and show you after I change the value of a. You can still see that here a is reassigned, yet the global variable does not change. In the last lecture we had seen, if I change this to global, definitely it will change. Okay, thank you for today.